Yes. 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 This is a 1976 Winnebago Chieftain with a 6-liter. Yes. 6-liter LS turbo. And it's sloppy. Forums know the name. Reddit knows the name. And some well-known automotive journalists know this name. Sloppy mechanics, thumbing their nose and various other body parts in the face of high-class, polished tuner culture. The whole idea of sloppy mechanics is how cheap can you go fast?
But it's a 2005 6-liter. It was pulled from a 2005. It's a Gen 4 6-liter. It has that's a Trailblazer intake, right?
Yep, yeah, Trailblazer, okay. Like, basically Trailblazer SS is what people call it, but it came on like 08 and up, like new Chevy pickups with the 4.8 or 5.3.
Yeah, it has a drive-by-wire throttle body, so there's no throttle cable, so electric throttle.
So that's right there.
Yeah, that's what that plate is. It's adapted from a drive-by cable intake. This intake had a regular throttle body on it with throttle cable. So that adapter allows you to put the drive-by-wire throttle body on that intake. And then that runs to the gas pedal is a shortened one from a Silverado. We cut it down. So that's the drive-by-wire throttle pedal, the whole pedal assembly there. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think, with that little module there on the behind the alternator, that's the throttle module, attack module they call it. That's when it interprets the signal to each other. Yeah, it has a PSI swap harness, so it's an all aftermarket harness. It's not a factory one. A standalone harness, you only have to run like 2 or 3 power wires from the RV itself. So that's where it's integrated into the RV harness. It has a Faller turbo manifold on the passenger side of the motor.
What is a Faller turbo manifold?
That's the brand. It's actually our one friend that makes them. He sells them. And then it's a factory driver side manifold.
Okay.
And then it has a pipe that runs from one manifold to the other. You loop like where the exhaust would be factory, like, angled back. You just join them into a U. Mm-hmm. And then there's a separate turbo outlet on the front of the manifold that goes over to the turbo. Mm-hmm. And we had to have him weld another 45 onto it because normally the turbo would be hanging right where that oil fill cap is. Mm-hmm. But because this is oddly shaped, we had to hang it out in the wheel well.
Let's have a look at it out there.
You can hang it up in there. That's a Chinese eBay GT45 turbo.
Okay, so explain what that is. Like, when people say Chinese turbochargers, what exactly are they doing?
They loosely copy it like a good design, and then they sell them cheaper. Yeah, they sell them cheaper from China. I think that turbo is $180.
Really?
Yeah. And then it's kind of a laggy turbo in general, but in this application it works pretty good. Yeah, like you wouldn't want it in a regular performance application, but for this it worked good. Goes down the intercooler, and we had no room to put the intercooler in front of the radiator, so we hung it flat and then built a scoop under it, where it scoops air from under the front bumper and blows it up into the intercooler. There you go. Right underneath, yep. So that's the intercooler with the scoop addition. And both pipes run out the same side, so it goes in and out both on the passenger side of the intercooler, and then up into the motor.
The 1976 Winnebago Chieftain originally came with a Chrysler 440 with a 3-speed automatic transmission with no overdrive. The 440 made approximately 220 horsepower, but a 6-liter LS. Look, this thing is too big for Matt Happel's dyno, so they're just guessing this is making somewhere between 500 and 600 horsepower. Now it has the GM 4L80E transmission, which is a 4-speed. The 4th gear is overdrive. They found this 4L80E transmission on the ground at the Easy Pull. And when they found it on the ground, it had a hole blown into it in the oil pan, or the transmission oil pan. In that, to say that this is a junk transmission, don't use it. And they're like, this thing looks all right. So they go to buy it, and they're like, this is a junk one. They go, yeah, we know. They came home, welded the hole shut. Like, okay, now we need a torque converter. So they found a torque converter in a wheelbarrow, face down. Didn't clean it, just shoved it right in there, filled it up with oil or transmission fluid, and then they drove it to Ocean City, Maryland, and it survived. Well, okay, it broke down a little bit. They never cleaned the gas tank in this, so they had, their solution was just like 2 or 3 inline fuel filters. And as one clogs, they just keep replacing it. This was the strangest vehicle I've ever driven. I'm thankful to have driven the On It food truck before driving this, so I got a handle on driving commercial vehicles fast. Now this is way faster than the On It food truck. No one coming, no one coming. Here I go. Oh wow, it is touchy. Yeah. And I get on it. It's like a normal car. Acceleration. But wow, there's a lot of motion in the ocean here. This does not, none of this makes, oh, that sounds perfect. Oh, there's the kick down. And I hear it. It's all right here.
Well, the reason it gets loud is it's an open wastegate in the crossover.
Yeah.
So when the wastegate opens, it's open header, basically.
It has like, let's just split the difference and say this has 550 horsepower. And let's make it all squared up and say 550 foot-pounds of torque. Even with a gross vehicle weight of 10,000 pounds, this thing feels like a regular Silverado with like nothing in the bed. So you immediately start driving it and you forget you're this long and this wide because turbos like load. Oh my goodness. This is an amazing creation. The second, and the turbo spools immediately. So you just accelerate and you forget that this has the stock brakes on it. And the stock brakes are just, well, they are discs in the front, but drums in the rear. And you gotta stand on them. And there's a bit right here where they tried to get back to the racquetball club and I overshoot this turn because you keep forgetting you're in a Winnebago.
19.5s for like Alcoa styles.
Yeah.
These are just bent.
Oh, I am really pressing hard to have that thing.
Right.
These are actually like new front brakes.
You might have overshot. You're not gonna find. Just quick back up.
Do you
Nope.
Nope.
Quick back up.
Where's my hazards? Oh.
You're good. Back up real quick. All right.
Okay.
Slam it all the way down to third. You're good.
All right. Sorry about that. Originally, Winnebago chassis had a top speed of like 55. The 440, the original engine, the 440, was made to just sit at 50 miles an hour and never move from that. The original owner had all the paperwork for this as well. The couches and seats are kind of small on the inside, but it's cozy. And you could imagine how a person could make a home out of something like this. It's got these beads that separate like the kitchen area from the lounge / bedroom. There is no master bedroom in the back. It just has the toilet, which doesn't work, and the shower, which doesn't work, and the stove doesn't work. It's really just a couch at this point. It's a demonstration vehicle that said, yes, you can LS swap anything, and LS makes everything nut. I just threw my turbo at that, I think, at that old muscle car there.
Yeah, you can feel it.
He was looking at us.
The turns are the worst thing, like.
You know, this is such the craziest thing. You hear the turbo flutter.
Yeah.
Coming from a Winnebago. It's also, why do I have a rear view mirror right here?
I don't know.
All I want to do is just drive through town and just have this thing flutter all the time at people.
Yeah, it's funny.
This engine doesn't get hot and the trans doesn't get hot. They were down in Ocean City. They were pulling hills on this thing. Nope, it is just dead on. How's the steering?
Vague.
No, I mean, is it better? Is it wobbling at speed?
Yeah. Well, it's still shitty.
Shakes. The wheels are horribly bent. That's why it
Okay.
shakes. It's not anything in the suspension. The wheels
It's a
are
little better.
screwed.
'Cause I think I switched the spare on now, so it's a little better.
Yeah.
But the one wheel's bent still.
Oh, it has methanol injection on the engine too, and the pump in the tank we hid under the dining room. So there's the methanol injection tank with the pump in it, and when it hits, what was it? How many pounds of boost?
I think it's like 5 or 6.
Yeah, when it hits 5 pounds of boost, that sprays methanol into the intake manifold to cool the charge on top of the intercooler. But it also has that. But normally that'd be in the trunk, but in the trunk. So we're like, hey, let's put it under the dining room. It's more of a safety thing due to the weight of this. Like, there's not much boost being blown into it, but you don't want the motor to blow up because you're hanging it all, like wide open all the time or anything.
5 pounds of boost, 6 pounds of boost sometimes, like for a while on grades. So I just don't want to melt it down. This will sit at 2 or 3 pounds sometimes also for a long time.
Yeah, normally when you have build like an LS swap car, you're running it for under full throttle for what, like less than 12 seconds, whatever it runs in the quarter mile. You're not holding it wide, you're not holding it in boost for 5 minutes straight. And that's what you have to do with this because the weight of it.
It's in boost, like you can be in boost for a minute straight sometimes. Like we climbed up 309 mountain and like we were cruising at the top, but it was sitting at like 10 pounds the whole way up because I was pushing it pretty hard.
Check out the weird cup holders too, because they knew it was going to be a shitty ride.
Yeah.
Look at like it auto levels the cup when there's liquid in it.
Yeah.
But they knew this thing was just going to be like.
A gas mileage is also better than it was with the 440. I think the 440s with no overdrive would average like 8, like somewhere between 6 to 8. And this thing is averaging like 10 to 12. Winnebago Industries was founded by John K. Hansen of Forest City, Iowa in February 1958, named after Winnebago County, Iowa, which was suffering a recession at the time. Hansen teamed with prominent members of his community to get a California investment firm by the name of Modernistic Industries to invest in a trailer factory to save the local economy. By 1966, the first motorhome rolled off the Winnebago lines. And when you see a classic Winnebago, you have assumptions about it. 1976 Winnebago Chieftain, the official vehicle of getting finger blasted with dirty hands. It's for the man who keeps a business card that says, Pussy Inspector, in case Redner's Warehouse Markets hires a new high schooler to work the register during night shift. The RV for you if your wife is a bag of potatoes with whom you have sexual congress. Winnebagos, transportation for your elderly father. He sinks into his red, puffy North Face parka, which he hasn't taken off because it's too cold in Cali burrito. He eats a taco with a shaking plastic fork. 76 Winnebago Chieftain, a roving fixture of southern Alberta campgrounds for your checkered-shirted wife to rest her wind-burnt face after filling nurseries with her machine gun womb. This is going deep into my memory as an amazing day. And there's no blow-off valve, so it just flutters up and down the pipe. We can talk more about how this is bad, but this turbo is a Chinese knockoff. It's like $180. If the shaft breaks, who cares? Get another one. You can buy these turbos all day on eBay. It's like a copy of some diesel truck turbo. There's no brand name. EM USA sold them, as well as about 100 other brands. But they all come from the same factory in China. The sloppy mechanics are amazing. Please go check them out. Just Google sloppy mechanics. They're on all the social media.
Thanks, Corey. Thanks. Oh, I just have fun feel it. Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, it sucks when I'm stepping on it. That thing got fucked up. They stepped on that to hop over in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
So now it's all like bowed.
I might just re-support it inside.
Driving in a Winnebago, driving. Driving in a Winnebago, driving.